Day 34. I wanted to just talk about prayer. It's a big, mysterious thing, but Jesus commanded and said we ought to pray, and he said how to pray, and the power is in prayer. And I don't know how it works, but I know it works. And it requires faith, and that's the key. And prayer has 5 parts. Now we can't forget any one of them. And it's easy for me to sometimes forget a part. One of the parts is confession. Just admitting that we fail, and that we fall short, and that we hurt others, and that we are sinners, and that we need grace, and we need mercy. And that takes our pride and kicks it. And one of the poems that I don't know the author is beautiful about, it's not always what we do. As a child, I was a cautious child. I wasn't going to do wrong. I was going to be careful, and I was going to do the right thing, and as far as not do the wrong thing. But that doesn't mean I didn't sin. That didn't mean that I didn't fall short. And the poem, the first line of the poem is, "It's not the things you do, dear. It's the things you leave undone. They give you a bit of heartache at the setting of the sun." It's not the things sometimes that we do, it's the things we fail to do. And so when I look at confessing, sometimes it's I didn't do. I wasn't kind. I didn't send the letter. I didn't offer the hand. I didn't stop. I didn't care to ask. And so confession just says, I fall short, I need grace, and I need mercy, and Jesus is the way to that. And prayer also is worship and glorifying. We have to remember who we're praying to. We're praying to the God of the universe, the God of creation. And that is seen in sunsets and snow storms and little babies and baby toes and two old people holding hands. Just praising God for creation. Another aspect of prayer is to just ask, petition, to just tell him what we need, what we want. Ask, and you shall receive. But a relationship requires asking. If I have a child who never asks me for anything, I will lack in a relationship. I need them to ask in order to know their heart and to be able to give them mine. Why yes or why no. And asking requires faith, trusting that the one I'm asking can actually do what I'm asking or give me what I'm asking. So I need to ask, small or big. And prayer also includes interceding for other people, praying for other things besides myself, praying big, as in our country and our world's needs, and praying small, as in some of the little things that people are going through, that they ask for prayer or they don't ask for prayer, but you just know about those things. And you think about how it would be good if the Father would relieve that pain or help them find a job or help them in some way. And the 5th way of prayer is just thanksgiving. Thanking him. Thank you for all the things. And it can be hard some days to find the things to be thankful for, but there's always something. It might be thankful that it's not worse. So those are the 5 parts of prayer, but how prayer works, I don't know. I have a book that I have read over and over, and it's called The Complete Works of E.M. Bound on Prayer. And praying and reading about prayer isn't the same as praying, but this book is quite amazing and encouraging and inspiring on people that knew how to pray and prayed mightily in what happened in their lives. So if you're interested in this book, it's a big book on prayer, but I have found it to be inspiring and helpful myself. Another book that I love, and I think that the poem that I mentioned is from this, Streams in the Desert. It's a 365-day devotional, and if you look at my copy, I had another copy and it fell apart, and I found this copy at a garage sale. But if you look, you will see maybe you'll see, I have written in it, I have underlined, I have found it amazing year after year. I can read December 13th this year and be, wow, that really applies. And then I can read it next year and it will be, wow, it really applies. It's a wonderful book. If you're looking for a devotional, it's packed with wisdom from a lot of old saints that are long gone, who really knew how to pray and how to trust and have some really good wisdom. But you were praying and people were praying, and I came upon these socks, and if you look at the detail, these socks were knitted by Barbara Magnuson. Barbara and her husband Kim were prayer warriors in Hawaii. They were in Hilo, and they were one of the first people to come and pray over us when I had cried out to a church in Hilo. And Kim prayed in tongue, and just I knew he was filled with the Spirit, and Barbara was the one to make me cookies that were just my 3 favorite Christmas cookies. And then she came with these socks and said, 10,000 stitches. I prayed through every stitch. And I love these socks. I wear them whenever I speak on the story, or whenever I'm needing just a little more grounding in, doesn't matter the weather. These are awesome wool socks that are comfortable and they're just perfect. And there's these prayer shawls, 2 of them. Eric's is red and mine is green. And Caitlin Summer from McFarland Lutheran Church had called and said, my mom and I want to crochet prayer shawls for you and Eric. What's your favorite colors? Eric said red, I said green, and one day they showed up at the hospital with a message that the entire congregation of McFarland Lutheran Church in Wisconsin had prayed over the boxes before they sent them. I've wrapped my fingers tightly around these shawls, my shawl, Eric's shawl, when I just needed to be comforted. And so it's just amazing what people do with their something. And what I want to say lastly about prayer is I believe it's like being asked to mail a special package. If somebody asks me to pray for them, I take it really seriously. I take it as if they're asking me, Linda, I have this special package, but I can't get to the post office. Can you please get to the post office and mail it for me? It's timely. And I say, oh, I will. I'll mail it. And then I set it on my seat in my car, and then some coat gets on top of it, and life gets busy. And 4 or 5 days later, I clean my car, and I see the package. And I didn't mail it. I had forgotten. I said I would, and I said it was timely. It needed to go out that day. And I didn't do it. That's what I look at when someone asks me to pray. If they ask me that this letter needs to get in the mail, would you please mail it for me today? And I say, I will mail it. And then I set it on my counter and it gets piled with other mail. And then 2 weeks later, I'm cleaning off that counter and I see, and I remember I was supposed to pray and I didn't. That's how I take prayer. Now, when someone asks me, I will almost just do it right then and there because I'm apt to forget. And I still have forgotten. But when they come to mind, I stop and I pray that it's not too late and that prayer is still answered. But when someone on Facebook asks me to pray, I usually just rattle a prayer right there in the comments because I'm apt to forget. I'm not going to just say, I'm praying, although I do that. But if I do say I'm praying, I treat it like a package that you've asked me to mail. And I sometimes fail because it isn't always what you do, dear. It's what you leave undone. Thank you for not dropping the ball. Thank you for praying us through. And you're in my book. If you've ever commented or spoken to me, or if you've come to mind even, I'm praying for you. I am. See you tomorrow.